this brings us to the issue of recruiting, something that people are very concerned about. We know that there were, on the initial Al-Shabaab Twitter account, which has been suspended, there had been reports of Americans being a part of this attack, at least a few of them, yet not confirmed. But we know that Shabaab has really tried to make it sound as though this is some kind of an adventure that people should go on, that jihadists from around the world should travel and fight in Somalia because, quote, and this is from a recruiting video they have, "I can only tell you from my experience being here," this is as a jihadi, "that you have the best of dreams, you eat the best of food, and you're with the best of the brothers and sisters who came here for the sake of Allah. If you guys only knew how much fun we have over here. This is the real Disneyland. You need to come here and join us and take pleasure in this fun." Well, how much of a threat is it really that people who have decided to join in this fight will return and plot against the homeland? Or is this also perhaps the beginning of more attacks in the region? I want to have our friend Steven Yates join us tonight. He's, of course, well known to viewers of the show. He's a former deputy assistant to Vice President Cheney for National Security Affairs, and currently he's the CEO of DC International Advisory. Steven, always good to see you.
Hi, Buck. Good to be with you.
Steven, while this is going on, people have also looked into recent reporting that Omar Hamami, also known as his kunya, his nom de guerre is Abu Mansour. We could show you a photo of him. This is somebody who grew up in Alabama, an American, traveling on an American passport, joined Shabaab, became very senior in the ranks. He may have been killed recently. People are looking at this, Stephen, saying, oh, perhaps this is an indicator that there could be somebody from Shabaab trying an attack like the one in this mall here on the homeland. What do you think about that? I mean, I think people perhaps are getting more worked up about that possibility than they should at this point.
Well, to a degree, I mean, that's the impact of terrorism. That what they did was set an example that could easily be seen as worthy of copycat by any number of groups. It doesn't have to be Al-Shabaab. We live in an age where social media and other kinds of things allow them to link up. They don't have to be a large group or a sophisticated group. All they need to do is to find willing cohorts on the other end in any geography to try this. And so that's the nature of the challenge we face coming from these kinds of groups. I don't think that there's any reasonable threat of Al-Shabaab itself becoming a global group, but easily what they have done could be replicated by others.
Stephen, it's Pete Hegseth. Somalia itself has obviously been a dangerous place for quite some time. Al-Shabaab and its reach, they've actually been pushed back from Somalia quite a bit. International forces, trained Somali forces. So there was a lot of folks believing that Al-Shabaab was, quote unquote, defeated, or they were not as strong as they once were. How much of this is a reflection of real strength from Al-Shabaab projecting their force into Nairobi, or how much of it is a gasp or an attempt to continue to prove and show regional relevance?
Well, I think there's an element of that latter category of trying to show regional relevance and make a statement. But a lot of times I think that we use maybe falsely reassuring metrics when we're talking about terrorism. We tend to look at numbers of warriors or geographical reach, but they don't need very large numbers. We tend to look too much at the how of what they do. Do they use guns? Do they use bombs? Do they use planes? Instead of the why. And it's the reach of that why that makes them, even with small numbers, still a very dangerous threat. And it's what links all of these groups from the northern Africa tier all the way through the Middle East to Pakistan.